Now we're live. Here we are. Hello and welcome, race fans, to Chicagoland Speedway at Joliet, Illinois. We are here with the OCRL, the Online Championship Racing League, for the race 3 of their chase. And I am Dakota Erman, joined up at the broadcast booth by Tim Terry. Tim, looking forward to 166 laps of racing here in a tight points battle as well. That's going to shake up the results of this race.
Yeah, there's some drivers in this chase that really need to go. As you saw, the 5-car of Mickey just on the racetrack. He's going to be at the top of the board thus far. We have 4 drivers left to qualify. Check that, 3 drivers left to qualify. And as your 17 car comes on the racetrack, Scott Ickes, he was your winner last week at Richmond. He's second in points. He's sitting really pretty right now, Dakota, but then you have guys like Mickey who were just on the racetrack. And you look down the list, there's guys 18, 20, 25, they're about points behind, and it's race 3. You really got to get going in this chase, albeit there is 8 races left. You don't want to be stuck behind and put yourself in a hole with 4 races left to go.
Yeah, entirely. I mean, now is the time to go. If there's any time, it's early. That's the time you've got to make a charge. You've got to get a good start. Now we've had our start. Now we're starting to get into the run and into the final stretch of things. I mean, we're close down the end of a season that wasn't very long. So I mean, it's time to go really about now. But talking about last week's results, it was Scott Ickes, like you said, bringing home the win in the Husky/Home Depot car. Chris Munger came home second. That's teammate to, or actually partner. Teams with Scott Ickes. Jeff Davis came home 3rd position for Turn 2 Motorsports. Jeff Backey Jr. came home 4th, and Tom Riker in 5th position.
And as Ickes completes his lap on qualifying, it was 6 quick, so he's going to have some work to do when we go to the grid here at Chicagoland. And you look at the point standings, Jeff Backey is ahead, but again, he has some work to do. He's going to start from position number 4 at the very minimum this evening. We still have 2 drivers left to qualify this evening. Chris Munger is one of them, and he's sitting 3rd in the point standings currently on the racetrack right now in the 55 Oxy Water Ford. He's only 2 points back, and he could very well make a splash here this evening with a victory as he is on his flying lap right now. Thomas Morris, Wendell James complete your top 5 in the standings. Davis, Riker, and Mickey, your chase drivers here, and as we mentioned, those last 3 drivers, they really have to start getting going here and not dig themselves into a deeper hole than they already are.
I'll tell you what, the biggest surprise is when you look at 8th position in points. The last guy in the chase, Eric Mickey, down 3 spots from last week, the week before, 24 points behind the leader. He is leading the points, I do believe, in the Amsoil Extreme Performance Series. That's Thursday night series. And then he was also one of the points contenders in the Tuesday night truck series they have, the CN Landscaping Truck Series. So Eric Mickey has been up front in all kinds of point standings. He came into the chase leading. The point standings are up front. Now he's already 8th and looking like he's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to dig himself out of a little bit of a hole. And keep in mind, those first 2 races of this chase, Dakota, they were short tracks, Iowa and Richmond. The short tracks are done per se. New Hampshire comes up next week. Dover is the week after. But the under 1 mile racetracks are done. Got a couple of milers coming up in the next 2 races, and then it's home free essentially the rest of the season. I guess if you want to count Phoenix in there, there is as well. But really, that short track mentality out the window right now. It's 1.5 mile racetracks. You got a couple of mile racetracks in there. You got another one like Texas and Charlotte coming up as well. This will really be the telltale sign as to who is going to perform in this chase. And speaking about performing, your last driver in qualifying on the racetrack right now of Mike Kirby looking to put himself on the pole. He was top in practice. He comes up at a corner number 4. He'll come down to the stripe this time by. He needs to beat a 29.92, and it's a 30.04. So he's going to be 10th. That's far down from where he practiced in that top position.
And you know, it was really weird because when he came to the line, he was way up the track, and you don't generally see that unless he's trying to build up momentum. You see him making a 2nd lap here, so he could be going to improve on the 2nd lap. I've seen him do it before. He could possibly do it here and, improve on the 2nd lap just a little bit as he comes off of turn number 4 and down. He's going to use the apron this time. That's what I was talking about, him not using that last time. That's generally where you make up a little bit of time, but he will not make up that time. A 1.59. He will not pick up any spots and be 10th.
And it's a different qualifying format than what we're used to seeing, Dakota. These drivers come out one at a time. It's reverse practice order, so it's something like they did last season in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. The one thing I asked you before we came on air is these drivers are only lining up one or two at a time with this iRacing simulation. Sit on pit road, let the temperatures build up a little bit. It's a little bit more of an advantage. So I was surprised with, let's say, Mike Kirby not at least sitting in his pit stall getting ready to go, getting those temperatures warmed up a little bit. But nevertheless, he's going to qualify in position number 10. Maybe if he sat there for maybe that extra lap or so, temperatures build up, and maybe it could have been maybe a 5th place run compared to a 10th place run.
Is we're entering the drivers' meeting here, guys. Finalizing things here. Kind of excited to see what happens here. Now, I want to look here at practice times compared to qualifying times. Mike Kirby on the pole, or top time in practice, 10th in qualifying. That just doesn't look right. I wonder if something went wrong with the 25 machine, and I think there's one way to see and find out. Why don't we talk to Mike Kirby here? And I do believe we have him here. Mike Kirby, you're up at the broadcast booth. Mike Kirby.
Hi.
Alright, man, you were top of the board in practice and a little thrown off with you qualifying in the 10th position.
Yeah, I had the wrong setup in. I was trying a different gear before practice ended, and I forgot to change it back to the good stuff.
The good stuff. Well, Mike, man, you got a dominant car here. I know we saw you were fast all practice. You got in the qualifying trim, but it didn't take you very long, and you were top of the board. You got to come through quite a bit of a field here, though.
Yeah, I think I can do it. The car's pretty fast. I've been working on it for probably 3 weeks now.
And Mike, I do want to ask, has the car been loose in the longer run? I know we've been hearing a lot of, or at least as drivers, a lot of people saying that the car's sliding around quite a bit. Are you having that problem in the long run?
No, I'm having that problem probably the first 10 laps or so. After the first 10, it gets pretty snug, pretty much perfect.
All right, thank you, Mike. I'm going to go ahead and let you draw out any shout-outs you might have here before you get racing here.
Nope, not at all.
Well then. All right, then, Mike, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
And there was Mike Kirby. I have a feeling we may hear from him later again, a little bit later on here tonight, as he was fastest in practice. And you know, I saw him actually at Texas Motor Speedway, kind of practicing. Guy was quick.
Kind of sounds like he's going to let his driving do the talking in this one, Dakota. Is not many words coming out of Mike Kirby's mouth right now. A little bit dejected as well, not putting the right setup in the race car, but it's happened to the best of us. With an open setup, you go to qualifying, not checking to see what setup is in there, and then you get on the racetrack. Keep in mind, these guys had, or Mike Kirby had, probably about 10-15 minutes or so before he got in the race car. So, mistake on his part. He'll have to rebound here from position number 10, but at least he knows what his race setup's going to do for 2 laps, right?
All right, now we'll go ahead and go down a track side now for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We're back live at Chicagoland Speedway. The field is rolling. We're getting set for the green flag. Eric, Mickey, and Jesus Andrade rolling off to make up the front row.
The Jeff and Jeff show in the next row. It's Davis on the inside, Backey on the outside.
Thomas Moore is making up row number 3 with his teammate Chris Munger.
Last week's winners, Scott Ickes and Tom Riker in row number 4.
Shannon Sagler and Mike Kirby make up row number 5.
Larry Scott rolls off from position number 11 to the outside, Gil Gawk.
About row number 7, consisting of Christopher Austin Thomas Dukes, otherwise known as Cat D, and Alan Potts.
Last driver to take time is Jake Finch in the number 8, and then Wendell James, first driver in Provisional Land.
And we'll have Case Hinkins, Matt Kingston, Paul Beardmore, Christopher Carpenter, and Patrick O'Toole rounding out the field.
Beautiful field of Gen 6 cars getting ready to go green with Mickey and Andrade on the front row. And it's a long race, as we mentioned, 166 laps, anticipating a lot of green flag running to this race, and possibly a point shakeup by the end of this. Backey, Ickes, Munger, the 3 drivers to really watch here, and everybody else in that chase. Those other 5 drivers, Dakota, really looking to make a splash here, and what better way to do it than Chicagoland?
Yeah, this is probably the third race with the Gen 6 too, so this is kind of a new car to the guys in the league. So here we go, green flag is out, Eric Mickey's away, Jesus Andrade kind of falling back on the restart. He's going to have a lot of company already from the 3 of Jeff Davis. Already Davis kind of getting a pretty good restart. The 5 left the field hanging on the restart. He's ready to get out of here and set sail as now Jeff Backey Jr. looks underneath the 05 of Jesus Andrade and the Autism Speaks Godfather Racing Machine.
Looks like Backey's going to clear him for position number 3, so Andrade moves back to 4th here really quickly. Great start by Davis to get up to position number 3, and for the most part all the way back to about 10th or 11th place. It's all single file as a couple of drivers looking to duck the nose out to possibly pick up a quick pass, but nevertheless, looks like top 10 or so are single file back to about Riker there in the 47. He's up in the second groove.
Yeah, and right behind the 47 is actually the 25 machine in ninth position. That's Mike Kirby, who started 10th and was fastest in practice, so we have our eyes on the 25 machine as he's kind of moving up a little bit, trying to find the grip. The 7 kind of getting a little sideways behind him. Got the apron maybe a little bit back there. That's Larry Scott Jr.
Yeah, 7 car tossed it in there, and as you mentioned, hit the apron a little bit. Great save by him to not get into the number 25. But he's been really, and albeit it's only 3 laps into this race, and you see it right on the back of the 25, he really tosses it into the corner. And the 25, not as fast coming out of the corner. 7 has nowhere to go. Now the 20 car to the inside. Shannon Sagler looking for the spot, and that would be for position number 10. And just behind them, we have Thomas Dukes looking to make up a spot as well in the 15 car, and just behind them, Finch in the 8 as well. So battling for 10th place, it looks like the 20 car is going to take it.
How about Jake Finch up there? He actually started, I do believe, a few spots back from where he is currently. He started 15th, so up 2 spots so far in the run. And in a long line of cars here is now Larry Scott Jr. looks underneath the 20 car of Shannon Sagler. They're going to be side by side, door to door, heading into turn number 3. It is Larry Scott Jr. carrying the momentum. He gets around the 20. He's clear, and he goes back to running his line, moving around to at the Roval.
So 7 car begins to pull away a little bit here from the 20, or at least attempts to, and as they battled side by side, you saw it there, and you're going to see it again as Riker in the 47 in position 8 is on the outside, and it looks like he is going to have Kirby to the inside in the 25 car. Those 7 and the 20, they battled side by side, Dakota, and it let everybody else get away. Now as the 25 and 47 go side by side, 7 and 20 close back in, and you're going to see that as these guys go side by side, but with a 20-car field and possibly some green flag running to do, you really want to pick off those passes really quickly, knowing that we could be seeing some green flag pit stops and some green flag runs here. You don't want to lose a whole lot of time here.
That indeed, and right now the guy losing time, Larry Scott Jr. I mean, if you watch the 7 car, he's throwing in it way deeper in the corner and is rotating a lot better than a lot of cars. You see him get to the bumper, people have to check up so he doesn't run him over. That's helping him turn because he's slowing down, and he's not really, he's plowing into the corner, but he's slowing down the center so he can turn. But I mean, other than that, he's trying to keep off of the bumper of the other cars, and that can be dangerous the way he's flying in the corners, because one of these times he could maybe lose the brakes or not be able to check up as quick and could get into the back of one of these cars. You see the 7 really moving though as he's trying to close up on the 25. He is around the 47. Behind them, the 20 car is also around the 47. The Shannon Segler around the 47 of Tom Riker, as we have a 25 and 20 or 25 and 99 car battle now. That is Mike Kirby and Thomas Morris side by side. Here comes Larry Scott Jr. underneath the 99 of Thomas Morris as well.
And when you have Morris on the outside there, he's one of those drivers in the chase and falling back early here. He's fallen back 2 spots already, looking to make it a 3rd here as the 20 car of Segler underneath the 47 of Riker. Had a moment a couple of laps ago with that number 20. Now the 47 going to try to move and pick up one more spot on the 99. So Morris falling from just at that top 5 position, and he's going to be outside the top 10 as he gets past for position number 10. So it's very exciting right now as the 99 is going to try to make up those spots again.
And, you know, it all started with Thomas getting passed by Mike Kirby in the 25 machine. If you look at Thomas's teammate, the next victim of Mike Kirby, he's in 6th position. That's Christopher Munger. He's pretty much probably in the same setup. So, I mean, if you watch the 25 running down the 55 here, it probably won't be much longer before you see the 55 going backwards the same. But remember, Chris Munger's up there a little ways in points. I believe he's 3rd in points, I want to say. So, I mean, he cannot have a bad run here. He's really going to make up and keep his points run going. And Eric Mickey, like we mentioned, came in, I do believe, the points leader. He's quite a ways back, about 23 points out of the lead. He's currently leading the race. The guy he's trying to catch in points is Jeff Backey Jr., who's sitting 3rd.
Keeping a half eye on this battle for 2nd as well, as here comes Davis and Backey, as you mentioned. That number 88 has been pressuring the 3 for about the last 5 laps or so, and now the 3 car is on that outside. 88 to the inside, Andrade there as well. Backey looking to pick up the spot, but Davis gets that run off corner number 4 and pulls out by 2 car lengths. And it's been this way, Dakota, for about the last 5 laps. Kept a half eye on that 88 as he would suck right up to the 3, try to make a move, and just cannot complete the pass. And as he does that and pokes that nose to the inside every time, they lose time. The 05 closes in, and now it's a 3-car battle. 3 up the racetrack a little bit. 88 nowhere to put that run. The 3 in the middle groove. Here comes the 05 of Andrade. Great run to the inside with the Ford Fusion. 88 slams the door. It's still a battle for positions 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as your leader is gone by 1.2 seconds.
And it looks like the 25 of Mike Kirby has gotten around the 55 of Chris Munger, like we said. Can the 55 go backwards? And now he's trying to catch the guy 2nd in points who won last week, the 17 of Scott Ickes. And, you know, Jesus Andrade not too far behind him. And, you know, when I was watching Jeff Backey Jr. in that battle, when he was battling 3, as the 3 gets sideways, nearly got the wall, he's going to get ran down because here comes the 88 on the outside. That's the 3 in 2nd position. He's all kinds of sideways. See, it looks like he's all right now, maybe. But the 88 to the outside, the 88 is really sideways trying to get next to this car. If he gets out of the groove, or out of his groove, any whatsoever, he gets a little sideways. That was what a lot of drivers were complaining about. I know the 05 of Jesus Andrade especially, so they spend a lot of time working on that car for that. As now the 05 looking to the outside behind the 88, they're trying to get around the 3 of Jeff Davis, who is loose, trying to hang on to it on the inside.
Watch this 25 at the back end of this battle. Mike Kirby has been fast. He's going to pass the 17 of Ickes here and look up at the 3 cars in front of him and possibly see 2nd as they go side by side for what is now 3rd. Davis and Andrade. It looks like Backey has the position. 3 car charges hard on the inside. He's going to bring the 25 along with him. And Kirby up the racetrack in the number 25. Nice save there. The 05 of Andrade continues to march on that outside line, as does Backey. The 25 has to regroup now. Mike Kirby in 5th, and he knows he's got a faster car than these 3 cars in front of him, Dakota, but he really has to pick and choose his spots. It's only 15 laps into this race. You can really pace yourself a little bit here, albeit the leader's gone by 2.4 seconds. You have a faster car than that leader. He's going to throw it in 3 wide. Here we go, 25. Now going to back out of it. 3 and 05 still at the battle for position number 3. That was close.
Now, I think, yeah, that was kind of close. The 25 backing out, but now I think the 05 might get around the 3 as long as the 3 doesn't clear him here. If the 05 can get to the outside 3, he will clear him, I do believe. The only reason he couldn't before was he had Jeff Backey Jr. in front of him. Jeff Backey Jr. was all kinds of sideways in that 88 machine. He's gone now. He's cleared the 3 and, driving away here. That's how much these guys are battling. That's allowing the 88 to just drive away like these guys are standing still. As now the 05 still working the outside of the 3 of Jeff Davis. It looks like the 05 might be able to clear the 3 here and just coming off of turn number 4 and down the straightaway. He does. And now Mike Kirby is outside the 3 of Jeff Davis looking for the 4th position.
Yeah, Kirby's going to have to try to go the outside line. He's made most of his passes on the inside now. Here he goes to the inside line of the number 3. Great move by Mike Kirby. He might have it before they go into corner number 3. Can he pitch it in here and complete the pass? Looks like he will. 25. What a drive. That thing is rolling the center really well. He's going to go to the outside here, possibly the 05. He's going to tuck in behind for the time being as the 25. I talked about him making those passes on the inside line. He went to the outside, thought about it there. Now he's going to try to regroup as 3 has to regroup really quickly because he's got a line of 6 cars behind him on the inside.
Now, if there was a place that 25 can make the move, it's going to be right here going into turn number 3. You see the 05 every time. He cannot get down the inside very quickly. The 25 has no problem whatsoever, and because of that, the 25 can turn the center so much better. He's getting off the corner better, and that's where the 25 is killing that 05 as he's already around him. Jesus Andrade moved back and forth, and it looks like Mike Kirby up to third. It's now Jeff Davis is trying to trail and run back down the 05 of Jesus Andrade. He's getting there pretty quickly as now you see the 05 running back down Mike Kirby.
And it looks like Kirby is trying to pull away here. Keep in mind, as these guys were going side by side and 3 wide at times, it's let Backey get out by a second over the battle for third now, which is still single file. That battle for fifth heating up again is a 20, flashing the nose in the 3 for position number 5. Nothing doing there for the time being. And as they battled, and as Backey pulled away, Mickey also pulled away as well. It's 2.5 seconds between your top 2. It looks like those gaps, for the time being, at least these last couple of laps, have been stabilized right now, as it's 2.5 back from first to second, and it's about a second back between second and third, and then you have this battle for third on back. Kirby isn't pulling away as quickly as he was on these previous battles, but it looks like Andrade pulling away a little bit now from Davis, and Davis has his hands completely full with Segler in the number 20 just behind him.
Yeah, and Jeff Jr. and Eric Mickey, the leader and second place car, are teammates right now, so I'm sure they're running something similar setup-wise. It's probably helping them get away or stabilize the gap that they're running between each other. And we just kind of saw Jake Finch, who's in 9th position currently, just went around the 47 machine of Tom Riker for the 9th position. So move Jake Finch up another spot, who started in the 15th position. But now, here comes the 47 underneath him. That's, I do believe, Tom Riker now to the inside, side by side with the 8 machine.
Great battles all over this racetrack as the 20 and the 3 are also side by side. It looks like Segler is going to pick up that spot on Davis. Finally, Davis back over him on the number 20 and can't seem to get that run to the corner. 17 pitched it in there. How about Ickes pitching it in hard on that number 3 car of Davis, and 17 nearly buys the fireman. Was pointed towards the infield there, Dakota, as he might lose one to the number 55 car. Indeed he will. Munger will pick up one spot. Ickes falls back, and there's that battle that you talked about. It's the 8 car, it's the 47, and just behind them 99 and 7, Larry Scott almost had a moment there with the 99 in the wall, coming off of corner number 2. He goes down and tries to pick up position 11 here on the number 99 of Thomas Morris, and they have the 47 of Riker just in front of them.
And now the 7 of Larry Scott Jr. sets his sights underneath the 47. Tom Riker, he's already gone. He's like, goodbye, Tom Riker. There he goes. There goes Morris underneath the 47. 47 may have had something go wrong there, as he was losing a lot of time throughout the straightaway. Here he comes to the corner, making up a lot of time, but losing quite a bit through the straightaways here, kind of.
It seems like in the first 24 laps that he's really had a handful. I think if you're Riker, when you have your first pit stop, you have to throw some changes at that, because it looks really loose from this vantage point here. He's sitting in back in position number 11, 6 seconds behind your leader, and really only 3 seconds or so behind third place on back, which really was the pack at that point. So watch that 47 to make a change on his pit stop, as He's still got some cars in front of him, but he is losing a little bit of touch with the 99 of Morris, Larry Scott, Jake Finch, and the rest of this field. For the most part, we are single file. Looks like the closest battle in this front pack might be Segler and Davis as they go at it. Davis was falling back a little bit, but it looks like he's stopped the bleeding right now as he's looking now underneath. The number 20 is Segler. That's the battle for 5th as they go through 1 and 2. Looks like the 3 might pick it up here. He's got the 55 and 17 in tow.
And there they are, side by side, door to door, heading into turn number 3. Davis carrying quite a bit of momentum. Looks like he has the preferred lane, but does he have the grip currently? He does. He makes it stick, but he cannot get the car to rotate entirely how he wants it to, or couldn't for a second. The 20 looked like he was making up time, but then he lost it. Maybe get to the throttle too quick, and that would allow the 3 to escape. And now the 55 of Chris Munger goes underneath Shannon Segler, and we'll just about clear him here. And behind them, you have Scott Ickes in the line, and you have Jake Finch and Larry Scott Jr. trying to run down and make up a few spots here.
Trying to pick up a couple of spots are the 17, 8, and 7. And 7 as Scott has really turned it up here in these last few laps. 17 looking to pick up the spot here. 20 stuck to the outside line. The 8 of Finch now underneath. And the 7 car of Larry Scott, it almost looked like he was going to make it 3 wide in the Ream car, but he will pick his pass and make it past the number 20 of Segler. So Segler now back to position number 10, and he'll have to reset himself to try to pick up a couple of more spots. The 7 of Scott just in front of him now.
Now, if you want to see a loose car, look back here, 20th position, the number 31 machine of Matt Kingston. I mean, every time he comes to the corner, he gets sideways just about. You see him coming off the corner, getting a little sideways, saves it, still going. He is struggling back here in the 31 car in 20th position. He's usually one to contend with, actually won at Bristol in the old Cup car, the last race with the old Cup car. And I did hear he was under the weather here tonight, but still racing, and definitely doesn't wish he wasn't, as he just got the wall coming off the corner, all kinds of sideways, and probably got the toe knocked out now, so it doesn't take much to do that.
And keep in mind, he was the first driver to miss the chase. He's got Chris Thomas Dukes, 29 points behind him, and 47 back is Todd Smith, and 48 is Jake Finch. So he's fighting for a top 10 spot in the points. He really doesn't want to lose it, albeit 29 points might be a safe haven right now. You really don't want to fall back any further. 20 car, speaking about falling back further, he just lost position number 10 to the 99 of Thomas Morris. So Morris will pick up 1 spot, and it's 1 more point, really, when you look at it, if the race were to end now. Morris is in that battle for the chase position. He sits 11 points back coming in, so every single point will count, especially if Backey, Ickes, and Munger are in front of you in the running order.
And how about Jeff Backey Jr., now 9/10 of a second behind Eric Mickey. It was 2.5 seconds earlier. He is 2/10, 3/10 a lap faster than the current race leader, and he's coming, but even faster, it looks like Mike Kirby might be, actually he was about a tenth slower than Jeff Backey Jr. last time by, but Mike Kirby's been making up quite a bit of ground too. He was 3.5 seconds behind the leader. He's currently only 2.8. Then you have Jesus Andrade, 3.3 seconds behind the leader, making up a little bit of time trying to follow the 25 there.
Yeah, looking at the last lap times for Eric Mickey, he's really fallen off. It's low 3s and high 2s the last 4 laps, 30, 32, 30, and 29 the last 4 laps for Mickey. And when you look back there at your, let's say, third place driver, Kirby, it's high 1s, low 2s. So there's a tenth or 2/10 of a second a lap. Backey is about the same as well. So it looks like your leader has possibly burned off his tires right now, used up the good, as Mickey is trying to keep up there. He just put up an 18 the last time by there, Dakota, so it looks like he's burning off his stuff. He might have got the tires a little bit angry at him, so maybe now he's trying to pace himself as we have a caution on the Speedway.
Yes, this caution thrown by race officials was for Alan Potts, who was in the 18th position as he crossed the line for lap 33. He got loose, or he pushed up into the wall coming off of turn number 4 on lap 32, where he was scored in 16th or 15th at the time. Would get passed by 3 cars and be scored 18th the next time by, spinning throughout the tri-oval. Good call by race official Stephen Cox to throw the caution, and the Ford EcoBoost 16 there finally getting rolling there.
And close call for Beardmore as well to not hit the spinning race car of Alan Potts, as Potts, as you mentioned, got up into the wall and maybe a little bit of an overcorrection, back up into the wall or in front of traffic, in front of Beardmore, as they had to make evasive action to avoid the spinning number 16 car. So as you mentioned, caution flag number 1 out on lap number 34. So we have just over 130 laps to go in this 166 lap affair. Eric Mickey, your leader, Backy in second. Kirby Andrade Davis, top 5. So it looks like Backy trying to maintain his point lead, with Mickey trying to pick up as much as he can. Here comes pit stops, here comes the 5, and the rest of the field down onto pit road. What are we going to see here, Dakota? Are we going to see 4 all around?
Well, we're 34 laps in a 166-lap race. These cars have been sideways, a lot of sideways we saw. We saw the 88 when he was trying to pass for just second position, all kinds of sideways. I think it's a 4-tire stop. You can't take the chance. You've got to get the grip back. You've got to get the new tires. But what you don't want to see is them overdrive those new tires once they get them, because they have them. But it is going to be a 4-tire stop, I do believe, as the leader stops in his stall, does not overshoot. 2 tires, right side's going up, right side's just about to go down. Crew about to head over to the left side. There they go. Left side's up, and it's going to be a 4-tire call, just like I said. Jesus Andrade, rather quick stop behind him. And there it goes. Jeff Backy Jr., rather, he's away. He gets beat, though, by Mike Kirby, and nearly gets beat by Jesus Andrade.
Yeah, Kirby with a really quick pit stop. He's going to pick up 1 spot. Backy going to fall back 1. And it looks like Andrade going to pick up that 1 position. But look who stays out on the racetrack here, Dakota. It's Ickes that stays out, and he's looking to pick up that extra point. And you know what? That extra point would keep those guys tied in the standings, really, because it's only 1 point coming in.
As it is, and now he knows he's got to make up a little bit of time here, and he's got plenty of time left. He can get the bonus point now, make sure he's got it locked in, come down pit road, get 4 tires, and come back and try to come back to the field, which he can do. He knows he's got a fast car, so we'll just have to keep our eye on the number 17 machine as he probably tries to come back, because here he comes down the pit road. But we're going to go ahead, step away, take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more green flag racing action from Chicagoland Speedway.
Running through people's road mess everywhere. Holding a couple car lengths there. Keep driving out the front windshield. You're doing good. Keep focused. 3 to go. White flag, clear by 5. Hit your marks.
Where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
We're back live at Chicagoland Speedway with the OCRL. We're getting set for the green flag. Pace car getting set to dive off. Eric Mickey lead him to the green flag. Pace car is off. Eric can go at any time now, so we got to watch for Eric. Eric's away. Green flag flies. Now we're racing again here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Andrade was anticipating that as he's on the inside of Kirby now, going for position number 2. Just behind them, it's Munger on the inside of Backy. Backy really hurt with that pit stop. He was second, and he might very well be 5th. By the time this lap is done on the outside, he's going to look to pitch it in to corner number 3 to take away that 4th place spot. But the 55 has that preferred groove on the inside. Just behind them, look at Larry Scott on the inside as he tries to take the position away from Jake Finch. Side by side for 4th and side by side for 6th.
Yeah, there goes the 7, Larry Scott Jr. underneath and past the 8 of Jake Finch. Teammates there. Tom Riker kind of sitting in the 9th position right now, or right 8th actually, is now they're side by side with for 9th. That's Jeff Davies underneath Thomas Morris for the 9th position. And here comes Gil Gauck trying to get underneath Thomas as well.
As they battle for that spot back there, beautiful crossover move by that 88 to take that spot away from the 55, and it looked like Larry Scott was going to pinch that nose in there, but couldn't get there as that battle once again, you mentioned for 9th, continues to rage on. Morris has fallen back a couple of spots here with Gauck taking position number 10. It looks like Hinken's going to try to get in there as well. There's battles all over this racetrack. 47 of Riker way down near the apron, and it looks like whatever changes they made on that pit stop, Dakota, they might need to reverse that or go the other way.
Here goes Larry Scott Jr. and Jake Finch. Both of them going by the 55 of Chris Munger now, as Munger on the outside. Here comes Jeff Davies as well. So Munger going to go back maybe another spot here, and he's got another car coming. That's the 47 of Tom Riker, and there's the 24 of Gil Gauck. It's like a never-ending cycle, I guess. Just a train of cars coming to the inside of the 55, and he's getting passed by every one of them, it looks like so far.
Yeah, that 55 was running in position number 4. Then Backy made that crossover move. 55 going to try to do it on the 47 of Riker, and Riker nearly got a little bit tail happy again, just in front of the 55, and pretty much half this field right now as Riker is going to be scored at position number 8. But as I was saying, Munger had that crossover move made on him and just couldn't get back into line. Now he's going to have the opportunity to go on the inside of the number 47 to try to put Riker back to position at number 8. And look at the freight train behind him. Gauck, Hinkins, Morris, Thomas, Dukes, among them there that are in this little train. And actually, as I say that, Thomas Dukes getting passed by Ickes as the 55 going to make up that position. 47 going to have room to fall in on the inside, and he thought twice about that. I'm not sure what the thinking was behind that, because he's going to lose 1, 2, maybe even 3 more spots here because he pulled back up to that outside line.
He may have gotten loose there in the 47 machine. I'm kind of wondering if he moved down, or maybe it was an accident. I mean, the car could have got thrown down there. Yeah, it's what I'm hearing from J.D. Webb. Car got loose in the tri-oval, so it kind of threw the car down there. He was able to save it and then pull it back up, make sure he's safe, and keep the car going straight. That's the goal here when you're driving a race car, and he's doing a good job of keeping it straight, but a little loose there. So a lot of guys are complaining about here, so we do have to keep our eye on that, as the 47 machine is still working the outside of the 24 of Gil Gauck. And how about the 21 of Case Hinkins right behind him?
Yeah, Hinkins has really put himself into this battle as it's side by side once again with that 47 of Riker. On the outside, Gauck looking to pick up position number 9 here from the number 47, as it looks like the 47 is going to be stuck out here for a little while. He's going to go from inside the top 10 to well outside the top 10 positions, as the 99 is now looking underneath the number 47, and he goes up the racetrack a little bit, going to open the door for the 17, but the 17 going to fall back behind that number 99, the 20 car of Segler there as well. 98, first time we called his name all night. Wendell James is also in this battle, as is the 15 of Thomas Dukes. So if you don't really want to get stuck on that outside line, Dakota, especially right now, because you're going to go back and back in a hurry.
Yeah, you talk about the 17 letting in the 99, not quite, jumping back in line, not quite, forcing it 3 wide or trying to get underneath the 99. There's a respect there. These guys are up there in points, and their teams work together. So, I mean, you won't see the 99-17 racing too hard here. So behind them, Shannon Segler, Tom Riker, not teammates. They're racing hard. There goes Segler around Riker. Riker getting right up to the bumper of the 20. He's going to back off now. He's going to make sure the car turns, doesn't push up to the wall. It gets kind of close, not really, coming off the corner.
Back up front, it is Mickey with the lead, and it's fluctuated between 2 and 3/10 of a second each time by. Kirby in second, Andrade in third. Everybody single file for the most part up in front, but I think Kirby might be hunting that number 5. We might see a lead change here in these next couple of laps as we complete lap 47 this time by.
And we might see another position change because Jeff Backey Jr. is kind of running down the 05. Here comes the 05. The 25 is loose. Here comes the 05 underneath the 25. This is for second position. There goes Kirby, and here comes Jesus. Jesus gets the apron, gets a little sideways. He's all right. He's still going. And there that put Jeff Backey Jr. side by side with the 25 and almost side by side with the 05. The 05 gets loose. He's in the wall. Big wreck. The 05 will be our caution number 2 here, lap 48, getting all kinds of sideways.
And there's smoke rolling back there. Oh, 47 hardened. That's going to fix his loose problem because I don't think he's going to be involved in the race anymore. As the caution flag flies, and there's our front clip on the 47. And I'm actually watching that replay as we go through this. The 47 tries to get woed up for the 99. He goes to the inside. Oh, okay, I can get by here. There's nothing on the... Oh, the 05 is here. He gets loose and gets on the binders and just clobbers the 05. And the 05 is likely going to have heavy rear-end suspension damage along with motor issues with that car as well, so it looks like he might very well be done for the evening. Tough break for the 05, tough break for the 47. 47's been fighting it all night long, but he's not going to have to fight it anymore as he's going to be out before lap 50.
Yeah, definitely. A tough night for the 47. Tough break for Jesus Andrade, getting in trouble there. And this will open up the doors, though, for the leaders and everybody to come back down pit road second time. It's only been a little over 10 laps, but I do think we'll see everybody coming down. Here comes Eric Mickey leading them down. I'll tell you what. I don't have... Good.
They're coming down here. Wendell James looks like he stays out on the racetrack to pick up a bonus point, but Mickey has to go to the end of pit road here, Dakota, to change some tires. It's only been about 14, 15 laps. We might see a couple of guys gamble, but it looks like Mickey is going to take at least 2 right side tires. Are they going to take 4? Looks like they're going to take 4 on the 5, but one driver only possibly taking 2 as Mickey is going to be second off pit road to Matt Kingston, and it looks like the 25 going to come out in third. Backey and Scott completing your top 5, but it looks like Kingston, and that was the driver we talked about earlier, Dakota, trying to fight that race car all over the racetrack, really loose. He was back in about 20-something, and now he's going to be out there, and actually looking at the list, he's 19 laps down, so I guess he'll be going back to the rear of the running order when we do go green.
Yeah, really unfortunate. I think... he probably lost control or was on pit road trying to get the thing fixed. He had to go. He had to get a lot done in the car. It was he hit the ball pretty hard several times. But joining us up in the broadcast booth, he just crashed out of the race. It's Jesus Andrade. Jesus, man, you were running in just about the 3rd position and ran into trouble getting all kinds of sideways there.
Yeah, man, it's a shame. Such a good car. The Autism Speaks car was, really fast tonight, and it's just a shame I can't get a good run going. Ever since we changed to this new car, we're really fast, but we just can't get the finishes or finish the race, in other words, and it's kind of a shame. But want to thank my owner, want to thank Godfather Racing, and want to shout out to Autism Speaks, man. It's it's such a shame that I couldn't finish the race, but we'll just go get him next week.
And what led to you crashing out here? I mean, what led to you getting sideways, and what was it like when you got sideways and then got punted?
Well, it was just, Kirby slowed up in front of me. He got really loose coming off 4, and it really messed up my entry going into 1, and my car, I hit the apron, and it just unbalanced the car coming out the corner, and I just, I didn't want to bounce it off the wall, and I get off the gas a little bit, and I just lost the rear grip, and it wasn't Kirby's fault, just wrong place, wrong time. Sorry, anybody that got caught up in that.
Alright, and I guess that answers the question. Any grudge being held there?
Nah, man, I've known Kirby for a while now, and I know he didn't mean to do it on purpose.
Alright, man, you head into, actually, next week is New Hampshire. You got anything for that place?
yeah, just leave it off the record. No, I don't think so. But we'll give it a try here with that Autism Speaks paint scheme, and I'll try my hardest. And I really want to get a good run for these guys.
All right, thank you, Jesus, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
There was Jesus Andrade, who was involved in what would bring out the next caution, second caution of the night. Large direct that would take out the 05 machine. 25 making contact. Speaking of the 25, he's starting the outside row after starting 10th position, charging through the field after a long run, or a decent run. He was climbed to the field, one of the faster cars. They kind of evened out with the leader, and now he's starting on the outside row for the second time. I think he'll be anticipating the 5 to jump the restart here, or maybe take off a little earlier than what he expected.
Yeah, the 5 car of Eric Mickey has led a majority of this race, but Kirby has been quick all race, so watch that 25 to see what he can do here on this restart. But keep in mind, in the last restart, he had the Andrade machine, who was running in position number 3, right to the inside and looking for that second place spot right off. So we'll see if Jeff Backey can try to get back to position number 2 with a good restart here from Mickey Davis in position number 4, and Larry Scott Jr. in position number 5. Watch the Ream number 7 as he's been tossing it into the corner a couple of times. Really gets that good corner entry, rolls well through the corner. We'll see what he can do with that number 7. He might have a top 3 run in that Ream Chevrolet.
He may here. Larry Scott Jr. has been working to the field. He actually started in 11th position, so he's up quite a ways now. Maybe made some changes on the car, but here we go. Green flag is out, and it looks like Kirby does not get the restart he was looking for, because Jeff Backey Jr. the 88 is now underneath him in that Mountain Dew car there. He's kind of... Oh! Backey gets all kinds of sideways.
Now Backey maintains that car, though, and maintains position number 2. Is Kirby going to have to throw something together on that outside line? The 3 and the 7 are going side by side, as are the 55 and 8 cars side by side, stacked about 3 deep as we battle for position number 2. Looks like Backey going to have it. Can the 25 get underneath and possibly do a crossover? He's underneath the number 88 now in his slipstream, looking to make something happen into corner number 1. Nothing doing there. As this happens, Mickey is out by 0.6 of a second. Close quarter racing, 7 and 55. Had a little bit of a moment back there as Larry Scott Jr. tries to get that car straight again. 55 of Munger as he dropped in that last run. Dakota, he's coming back to the front and possibly using the bumper of that Ford Fusion to do so.
And there comes Larry Scott Jr. just about sliding up in front of the gate of Jake Finch after getting sideways off the corner. See Munger now behind Finch, kind of slowing up, checking up, so it's not over the 80. He's using the apron, acting with danger too at the tri-oval. It gets on the outside of Munger there, trying to hang on, trying to make it work. The outside can be the place to be, or it cannot. Just kind of depends who you're racing against, and right there, it happened to be the place to be for Scott Ickes, because he just cleared Chris Munger and now sets the sights on Jake Finch. He's trying to get underneath him. He was kind of tight going into the corner. It kind of looked like he couldn't turn in, get underneath the 8 quite immediately, and that would cause him to maybe back up here and not be able to make the pass as soon as he would like to.
Yeah, he wants to get past this number 8. You know, I know what you're thinking, only 56 laps in, but if we do get that long green flag run, you're seeing that 7 car in front of you of Larry Scott, or in front of the 8 car, driving away from the rest of this battle. So the 17 wants to be driving away with the number 7, but he's going to get past the number 8 first of Jake Finch. Great battle for what is position number 6 as we come down across the stripe this time. 56 laps completed, 110 laps remaining in round number 3 of this chase for the OCRL, as Mickey continues to lead. Just in front of that, or just behind him, it's Davis in the number 4 spot, and Larry Scott battling for that 4th position. The 7 car to the inside of the 3, or it looked like he was going to get there in the middle of 3. It looked like he possibly let the 3 have it on that outside line.
He got the apron quite a bit of that corner, and I mean, if you watch that, he had to kind of check up. I mean, it looked like he was sliding. He had to keep it on the apron. He couldn't let it get off the apron, or he might have lost control of the car. So he did a good job of hanging on to that there. But when he hit the apron, it looked like he got a tad bit sideways, nearly scrapes it there. And there's a big banking change. I mean, when you get to that apron, there's nothing between the apron and that apron line and the track. That can be something dangerous, because it's just a big fall off from the banking of the track that he's racing on.
And especially when you're out in front of the field, if something happens on that apron and you get a little bit loose, it's unpredictable as to what the traffic is going to do behind you. The 8 to 17 are battling for a position. I'm sure they're not thinking about somebody in front of them going on As we go down the back straightaway, 7 car once again on the inside of the number 3. We're going to go side by side for position number 4. The Rheem Chevrolet and the Budweiser Chevrolet going at it, and the 3 car goes a little bit high, lets the 7 get the momentum, and tries to find a line on the inside. There was a little bit of a hole there, but the 8 car is going to have to scurry to make sure he fills that hole. Now there's a little bit more of a gap behind the 7, but the 3 car, he's going to stay on the outside. He's going to battle this position out with the 7.
8 car gets sideways, pushes up the track. The 17 now, Scott Ickes on the bumper of the 8. He's going to the inside, maybe. He's on the bumper to the inside. Goes the 17 to Scott Ickes for the next one. That'd be for the battle for 6th. He's side by side now as looks like Finch pushes up the track again. I mean, it looks like the nose. He's fighting the nose of that machine, moving around quite a bit. Definitely not happy with the 8 car as he's now falling back a spot and now joining in line behind the 17 of Scott Ickes, and he'll fall back to 7th.
And what we're starting to see here, albeit we're about 10 laps into this run, we're starting to see those cars that were at the front in that first 30-40 lap run start to slowly creep their way up to the top where they were before. Backy, Mickey, Kirby up there in the top 3. They've been up there for a long while, albeit Kirby did start near the rear of this running order. Then you have Scott, who was really at the rear. First time we really seeing him flex his muscle a little bit. Davis was up front. Ickes has won races in this series. He won last week. He's up there in 6th. And Finch was one of those drivers that was just hanging around the 10th place or so, or just a little bit behind there. And he's a little bit better on this run, showing in position number 7. So a couple of guys trying to come to the front of the field, and I'm sure we'll see this as we have a battle for the lead now. 88 of Backy to the inside of Mickey, and it looks like he will take the lead. And I believe this might be one of the first times this evening that we've seen the 5 car being passed under the green flag as the 5 falls back to 2nd.
Now, Tim Terry, I got a question for you here. Is Junior Nation on their feet right now?
Junior Nation is definitely on their feet right now for Jeff Backy as he begins to inch away a little bit.
There he goes, and looking back here, the battle for 5th position, Jeff Davies currently sitting in that 5th position. He had a lot of company from who you talked about, Scott Ickes, who's in 6th, and now Scott kind of falling off the bumper of the 3, and now has the 8 of Jake Finch all over his bumper. Do want to mention, Scott is the defending series champion, and he's only 1 point behind points leader right now, Jeff Backy Jr. So Scott really looking to make it 2 in a row when it comes to championships, and putting himself in a pretty good position so far as it gets a little sideways there coming up the corner. It's going to allow the 8 of Jake Finch to kind of close up to the bumper and maybe look inside here going into turn number 3. He looks, but not quite there, and cannot get the real estate to get underneath the 17 quite.
So the 8 car here, he goes back underneath, and it looks like he will try to pick up this spot on the 17 of Ickes as he goes high. 8 car goes low, hits the apron, don't want to do that, come up the racetrack and nearly take out the 17. 17 was about a half lane away from being into the fence there via the 8 car. Great save by the 8, but as they do that, Dakota, it closes in the 55. Here comes Chris Munger to the inside of the 8 car. 8 car way up the groove, and we talk about setting yourself up in a rhythm. The 8 car definitely needs to get back in said rhythm because he nearly got that 6th place position. Then he goes from losing that spot, battling for that spot. Now he's back in position number 8. So Finch really has to reset himself right now. I know he's got a good car. He knows he has a good car. He's just going to start showing it now.
And he's teammate to the race leader and the 2nd place car, Jeff Backy Jr. and Eric Mickey. So he's another one of the Junior Motorsports cars. And that 8 machine, he's kind of found the rhythm again. I mean, he just got back into that corner after he was cleared by the 55. It looked like he found his rhythm already. I think he's got an arc to his corner. He's got a certain way he's got to enter the corner, certain way he's got to get through the corner for it to feel natural and for him to be decently quick. And he's figured that out. But when he tried to make the pass on the 17, he got thrown all kinds of, just thrown off, we'll say. And when he went to the corner, it messed him up because he had to enter a little bit lower. He got the apron and screwed up. Then he had to refine that line, and now he's found it, but he might lose it here as he's trying to work underneath the 55. He's got it still. There he goes. He's going to clear the 55, and now we'll watch the 8 try to go run down Scott Ickes again.
And as they battle for that position, Kirby has taken that 2nd place position away from Mickey, and now he sets his sights on Backy. Half second between 1st and 2nd, half second between 2nd and 3rd right now, thereabouts, as that 17 car of Ickes continues to work on the number 3 of Jeff Davis at position number 5, and just in front of them, it looks like Scott is on Mickey for position number 3. The 5 falls back to 3rd, and Larry Scott Jr. really starting to come to life here on lap number 68 as the Rheem Chevrolet is now up in the top 3.
And that's another Junior Motorsports cars. They have 4 cars fielded here tonight. 1 car in first position, 1 car in third, 1 car in fourth, and 1 car in 7th position. So all 4 cars in the top 10 for them tonight. Strong run for the team. It looks like the 7 has a really, really, really good car right now. Just trying to run down the leader. Jeff Backey Jr. the same as Mike Kirby, sitting in second position, can see the leader, but still has quite a bit of time to make up on him before he can get around him.
And he's got a fast hot rod. We'll see what he has on the longer run. Last time by for Backey, it was a 30.98 to Kirby's 31.09. So Backey a little bit quicker that last time by, but Larry Scott a 31.05. So a little bit quicker than Kirby, but a little bit slower than Backey, as those guys continue to trade off fast laps right now. So one driver will have a quick lap, 1 lap, and then it will be the other driver the next lap. So we'll watch those guys, keep a half eye on those as we continue through. It looks like the 5 car of Mickey, though, starting to fall back a little bit, and we've seen it since he's lost the lead position. He's got a little bit of a buffer room now between himself and Jeff Davis, even though Davis is losing that position to Ickes right now. Ickes passes the 3 car. Finch will now look at the number 3 car for position number 6.
And the 3 kind of pulling up to the 17 really quickly, kind of looking low 17, a little loose there. Will move around as the 3 gets to the bumper. The 17 has to kind of back off to make sure he can make the corner, and that will let the 17 drive away. Here comes the 8 of Jake Finch underneath the 3 of Jeff Davies. Looks like he gets a little loose. The 3 gets a little loose. That kind of scared the 8 down. The 8 gets loose in the tri-oval. He loses time. He's all kinds of sideways. Keeps it going, though. Nice driving by the 8 of Jake Finch as he's going to kind of push up the track next to Jeff Davies. Almost gets into the side of him, but there he goes, driving away. It's all good.
3 car tried to scare that wall a little bit off corner number 2 as he used the Harry Gant groove to try to stay off the 8, give him a little bit of room on the inside line, as the 8 of Jake Finch will pick up that spot. Here comes the 55 of Munger looking to pick something up as well, but the 3 car going to have a little bit of real estate here to tuck in behind that number 8 and see if he can't possibly make another move on him. But the 3 car continues to push up that racetrack. 55 going to move on to the inside here and look to pick up position number 7 as the 55 flashes the nose of the Ford Fusion to the inside.
Here comes the 55, yes, side by side with the 3. Now he's going to get to his now he's going to get to his door here. He's going to be side by side with the 3. He's making up a lot of momentum on the inside, but there goes the 3 carrying the lane. He's got the lane, and when it comes to getting off the corner, the 3's where you got to be. When it comes to getting in and through the corner, the 55's where you want to be. On the inside, the 55 is able to get in and through the corner, but when it comes to getting off the corner, I think the 3 car has got him beat right there, and that's why the 3 is holding on the outside lane. You see the 55 drop back and let the 20 of Shannon Sagler go, and here comes Gil Gawk. Looks like the 55 just really lost a lot of power or something coming off of turn number 2. Maybe a little sideways checking up so as to save it.
Yeah, that 20 car may have kissed the wall down the back straightaway. Great run to try to suck up to this number 3 and try to take position number 7 away, and Gil Gawk picks up a spot as well on Chris Munger. So Gawk moving up as well, looking at that number 20 car, trying to make that pass in the 3. He gets right up close to that wall coming out of corner number 2, using every piece of asphalt here at the Chicagoland Speedway to try to complete that pass. The 3 car of Davis will gap him by about a car length this time by as we come up at a corner number 4. 75 of the 166 complete.
And saying 75 of the 166 complete, I think that's the perfect time for us to go ahead and step away, take our second commercial break of the night. We'll be right back with more racing from Chicagoland Speedway. We are ATV Live, powered by the AHC Radio Network.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
It's If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products, reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
We're back live at Chicagoland Speedway under caution here for the numbers, I want to say, was 7th place car. At the time it was Shannon Sagler working lap 77. He's working through 3 and 4, coming off turns 2. It's actually turns 1 and 2. Coming off 2, he comes up into the 3 of Jeff Davis, puts Davis in a wall, a little bit of net code involved, and that will put the 20 around it, barrel rolled, put it on his roof, and we come to a stop, and that'll end the day of the 20 of Shannon Sagler. And then pit stops took place, and Thomas Morris staying out, leading the lap. Jeff Backey Jr. comes first off of pit road, Mike Kirby second. Then there was Eric Mickey, who came in 5th, came off 3rd. Chris Munger 4th, Gogok 5th, Case Hinken 6th, and Larry Scott Jr. 7th, losing 3 spots on pit road.
Yeah, it's a tough break for him. As you mentioned, Sigler, you talk about the Gen 6 race car that we have, and you see that damage that he has. The damage model on this race car is pretty cool. It looks like you're going to need a front and rear clip at least for that number 20 car of Sagler, and he's one of those drivers that was running up front earlier in the race, and he's going to have to rebound when we hit our next race in this series coming up at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So Morris in the number 99 comes down onto pit road here with Backey taking the lead back again as we work lap number 80. We're just 3 laps shy, Dakota, of the halfway mark in this race.
And Patrick O'Toole will be the lucky dog here. He's only 10 laps down, scored in the 17th position. Just around halfway, like you said. And Jeff Backey Jr. leading the way. Tell you what, why don't we talk to Jeff Backey Jr. on the radio here? I think it'd be a perfect time to talk to Mr. Backey, who is currently our points leader here. Pulling him up, trying to get it on the radio, and I do believe we have it. Jeff Backey Jr., we got you on the radio. This is Dakota Herman of the broadcast booth, joined by Tim Terry. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
You're sitting here leading the race. It took you quite a while to get up here, get to run Eric. Finally, you did it. Now you got a lot of company. Can you hold off Mike Kirby?
You know, Mike's pretty good. I feel like our number 88 Mountain Dew Kickstart Chevy SS is pretty fast as well. Trying to keep up with the track, make the right adjustments. There's a lot of fast guys behind us that still haven't gotten up here, Mike being one of them. So we'll see what we got.
Hey man, what did you guys do to set up the car here? It looks like you guys are a little bit better into the center than a lot of the guys out here. Really able to drive it into the corner.
Yeah, we focused on that in practice. We were struggling getting in and out, or through the center of the corner, and the 88 guys and the 8 guys tried an experimental front end just to see what it does. We had the points lead to play with, so we got something completely different than our teammates, and it seems to be working pretty good because now my other teammates, the crew chief said you're screaming title entry, and we don't have that problem.
And what about the 8? Definitely having some problems there as he's been all kinds of sideways and now sitting in the 9th position.
Yeah, he's got what I've got, and he seems to be struggling on just being a little too loose right now to the center as far as I understand, but they're trying what we've got, so it's not working for them obviously, but it's working good for us.
Alright, well nearly halfway there. Jeff Backey Jr., good luck to you here in this last little stint.
Thank you.
That was current race leader Jeff Backey Jr. As we get set for the green flag, he's working through the backstretch, just about to turn number 3, where we'll go, the rest of the way, which is just a little over 82 or 83 laps, a little bit more than that.
And right now, as we get ready to go green, the 3 drivers up in front have really been the 3 drivers that have been the class of the field so far this evening: Backey, Kirby, and Mickey. And then you have what seems to be a revolving door right now for 4th on back as the First Racing Ford Mustang pace car heads to the infield. We're getting ready to go green. Once again, we'll complete lap 81 here, and Backey is on the hammer. Green flag flies. 5 and 25 side by side for position number 2 as Munger takes 4th. 5 to the inside. He looks to pick up position number 2, and Mickey will take it away from Mike Kirby. Kirby back on the assault. 5 loose at a corner number 2. 25, great run on the outside. He's going to pick up 2nd, and here comes the 55 of Munger for 3rd.
And nice save, fantastic save for Eric Mickey, getting to the corner all right, or getting off the corner all right. He was all kinds of sideways, saved it, kept the car going straight. A lot of guys would have just lost the car, crashed the car right there. Not Eric Mickey. Again, was the points leader heading into the chase. Not quite anymore. He's going to have a really good point stay here. It's time to get the momentum shifted the other direction. That's what he's doing. He's sitting in the 3rd position now, creeping up on the bumper of the 25. There goes the 25, kind of sneaking away, getting off the corner really well, though. And that is Mike Kirby.
55 really starting to show some muscle as well of Chris Munger as Munger closes in on the 2nd and 3rd place battle, this time by cross flags. Halfway home, 83 down, 83 to go in this 166-lap race. Backey leads by a half second as Gil Gawk back there going to lose a position to Larry Scott. That's at 5th place. The 24 way out of the groove. He lets that 7 car go, and now Larry Scott, another driver that really could have something here in this second half if he can put something together, is now in 5th.
In car with Chris Munger in the 55 machine as he's trying to run down the number 5 of Eric Mickey, who is trying to run down the 25 of Mike Kirby. You see him kind of using the wheel a lot, even through the tri-oval and into the corner. He's going back and forth on the wheel. Now he's got it pretty much cranked to the left and playing with the wheel. It's not an easy thing to drive these cars. You see him kind of all kinds of sideways. He's moving it around a little bit, even when it comes to just the straightaway.
Yeah, moving around a lot here at this racetrack, especially on the newer tires, on the colder tires here as they get up to temperature. Backey out in front by 0.5 of a second. The battle really is for 2nd here, though, as the 25 trying to hold off position at number 3 in the 5 of Mickey. Mickey trying to rebound after that restart, and it looks like he's getting that great run in the middle off, really rolling the center off on the corner. The 25 really pitches it in, and he gets that great corner entry, but it seems like the 5 just a little bit better off these corners.
Yeah, currently, I mean, the 5 was a little bit earlier. He was better, getting into the corner. It was Jeff Backey Jr. that was. Now the 5 not quite as good when it comes to that. He's getting better at getting off the corner. I think it's a different setup that he has between his teammate Jeff Backey Jr. that's helping him right now be faster than the 25 of Mike Kirby. And Kirby kind of being the lone car right now for Turn 2 Motorsports, T2M. But, Eric Mickey's kind of running down this 25 in a hurry. Here he comes with a huge run. The 25 is definitely tight in the center, and I'm sure they're working on that machine next time he comes to pit road because he's losing a lot of time here.
And whatever adjustment they made on that last pit stop, they got to reverse that one as the 25 back in 2nd and was as quick as the leader on the last run, and now he's got his hands full with position number 3 behind him. And it looks like the 55 and the 7 also back there as well within striking distance and trying to mount a charge here for position number 2. And if they continue battling for 2nd, it might be a very well 4-car battle before the next 5 or 10 laps or so are completed. 88 laps are in the book right now with Backey in the 88 continuing to lead. It's now 0.6 of a second back to the 25 of Mike Kirby.
And how about looking back here, 11th position, it is Christopher Austin Thomas Dukes, Cat D, who is now on the outside of the 98 of Wendell James, and it looks like Wendell James all kinds of sideways at 15 has been used in a high lane all the way around. He was in the marbles quite a bit earlier, now he's going to be able to come down a little bit, but he finally got around the 98 of Wendell James, so putting on a show back here. So here comes Wendell James running down the 15 in a hurry. 15 did not get off the corner at all. Here comes the 98 side by side. He gets to the apron a little sideways. He's all right though. And the 98 might clear the 15 here. He does clear the 15 here. and that was Christopher Austin Thomas Dukes going back a spot. Dukes gets the apron, and will fall back a little bit here.
Yeah, he's falling like a stone right now as he gets the 45 to the outside. He's going to battle with that number 45 for the spot, pitches it in on the 45 on the inside. The 15 looks to stop the bleeding at position number 12 right now as Wendell James made that move the last time by. Backey continues to lead, but here's the battle for second. 5 on the 25. He got that great run in the middle off. 25 of Kirby really having to play defense right now as the 5 is there and just looking to make something happen right now on that number 25. Now he looks to the outside line. I can't go on the inside. Why don't I try the outside line? And he's going to lose time doing that.
It's one of those things where I think they've made the 5 car better. The 25 car was made worse when they made adjustments to the car. They're now 0.8 of a second and 1 second behind the leader. The 5 is stuck behind the 25 right now. If he could get off the corner better, I think it would be if he was around the 25. He didn't have that draft affecting his car, or he didn't have a car to watch out for. He didn't have to worry about running over that car. The 25 is not slow, though. I mean, the 25 has been running up here. He is running second either way. As here comes the 5. 25 gets the apron. That's Mike Kirby on the apron. Here comes the 5 of Eric Mickey around to the outside. Side by side, door to door, heading to the tri-oval, across the line, and into turn number 1.
25 to the inside, the 5 on that outside line. Eric Mickey looking to take position number 2 and try to do something with that 88 in front of him, but first he has to battle with that 25. Mickey has had the faster car here on this run as the 25 gets that run on the inside line, has that preferred groove, and now the 5 is going to be behind the 25 as he nearly got into him, and we nearly had a caution once again as the 5 and 25 go at it, and I'm sure Backey is loving it out in front. He's now 1.4 seconds gone from this battle.
You see Eric get the apron just a little bit there. He's going to lose a little bit of time and fall off the bumper of the 25. That's what Eric had going for him. He was on the bumper of the 25. That was pressure in the 25 to make a mistake, do something stupid, miss his line, anything. That's how the 5 could get around him. That's how the 5 could get outside of him. Without the 25 making a mistake, he was running pretty solid lap times. So right now, that's what he's got to do is play mind games kind of with the 25 if he can't get around him. You see Mike Kirby, he's just almost waving the hand out the door saying you can go on ahead, but not quite because the 25 really found the line there. He picked up time on the 5.
So now the 25 is out by a car length or so on the number 5, and as they battle, that Larry Scott machine is coming into the picture, as is the 55. Haven't talked a whole lot about the 17 either, but he's coming into the picture as well of Scott Eckes, and he could very well be a top 5 car before the end of this night. Second place in the point standings, chasing right now your leader of the race and your leader in the points, Jeff Backey Jr. As the 5 is there once again on the 25. Could he have the run on the inside? He's not going to get it. A little bit of a run off the corner for the number 25, going to solidify second place for the time being.
And I was just about to mention that Larry Scott Jr. is coming. He's actually running down a little bit of time in the leader currently of Jeff Backey Jr. He's now 2.0 seconds behind. He ran at 31.1 to 30.9. Jeff Backey Jr. picking up about 2/10 that lap. But before that, Larry Scott Jr. was actually running down Jeff Backey Jr. a little bit, but not quite the case anymore.
No, definitely not. As Kirby, Mickey, they're going at it. Kirby's really turned up the wick here in the last couple of laps, 0.2 of a second now, as Eckes looks to be one of the faster cars here as well, as he's closing in on Munger and Scott. That 17 might have something for 5th place here in these next couple of laps as he can sniff the draft of the Oxywater Ford Fusion. This will be the battle for 5th, as keep another half eye once again on that battle for 2nd. It looks like Mickey lets that 25 get away, and now the 5 car poking the nose on the inside, and the 25 car going to let him have it going into corner number 3.
There's a time where the 25's got to say enough is enough, go on ahead, and then maybe he can follow in line and maybe follow the 5, learn something from his line or something. I mean, before he had the mirror drive, now the 5 has the mirror drive. He has to make sure he's not running into the 25, over the 25. If the 25 gets underneath him, it can't come down on him, so he has to be aware a little bit of what's going on. So if the 25 has a decent car still, whether it's long run or not, he can still make up time on the 5 here and maybe do the same thing to the 5 that the 5 did to him, and he could actually learn something. Or and as I said, he gets right to the bumper of the 5, but then the 5 driving away just a little bit off the corner, and 5 a little sideways too.
Yeah, 5 a little bit sideways to 25, just behind him, putting a little bit of pressure on, and it's one of those things, yeah, it's fun to race side by side, but if you're a little bit faster, try to burn your stuff up, maybe go ahead of me and burn that stuff up, and I'll catch up to you later. Maybe it might be the mentality of the 25 of Kirby. Backy ahead of this field by nearly 2 seconds now is the 25, keeping pace with the 5, as it looks like he's about that 1/10 of a second off that he was in this battle, only it was flip-flopped a couple of laps ago with the 25 ahead by a 1/10 over the number 5 of Eric Mickey. So he's keeping him honest right now. In position number 3 is the number 5, or the 25 of Kirby. Mickey in position number 2 as they battle. We've just crossed the 100 lap mark, so we have 66 laps to go.
66 laps remaining, going to be 65 as the leader crosses the finish line. He's now working on turn number 4 and coming to that start-finish line. Eric Mickey still leading Mike Kirby, and Kirby just kind of riding behind, trying to keep the 5 within reaching distance, or reach here, as they're actually running down the leader currently, or did the last time by. Larry Scott Jr. has kind of fallen off of this battle since they've single-filed out somewhat. He's losing a little bit of time to them, or he's losing time to the leader, one of the two. And behind them, Scott Ick has fallen back a little bit, but he has now passed Chris Munker, who's fallen back to the 6th position. Jake Finch running in the 7th position. Case Hinkins in 8th. Thomas Morris currently running 9th. And how about Gil Gawk? He's fallen back to the 10th position since the start of this, restart.
Looking back at the final couple of drivers in the lead lap, just behind Gawk is Thomas Dukes, and then you have Wendell James in position number 12, and they're battling in a little bit of a pack here. And then you have Chris Carpenter back about a second or so off that battle. Alan Potts is also back there in position number 14. Then you have guys that are either out of the race or are multiple laps down. Jeff Davis is the first driver laps down with 20 laps down. Everybody else out of the race, O'Toole, Sigler, and the rest of the running order. As I did see a battle up there, I believe it might have been 1588 or 98. Check that at Wendell James as he picks up the spot on Gil Gawk. Gawk falls back to 12th, so he loses 2 more spots in this run as the 15 way up the racetrack again. 98 looking to close in on him. Wendell James looking to pick up position number 10 right now, as this looks to be the closest battle on the racetrack for the time being, as Mickey goes back. He's got that second place spot, and it looks like he's gapped him by 2/10.
How about Christopher Austin Thomas Dukes, Thomas Dukes coming underneath, or going to the outside, still on the outside. Here comes Wendell James, though, to the inside. These two have been going at it since the restart. These guys have been battling, swapping the position, the lead position, back and forth repeatedly. Seems like the 98 will get around the 15, the 98 will get loose, the 15 will go back by, then the 15 will get passed by the 98, and they'll keep going back and forth with this as now the 98 clears the 15 almost. Never mind, the 15 fighting back on the outside.
Yeah, 15 fighting back on that outside line. The 98 on the inside of Wendell James trying to take away the position. This is your battle for position number 10 as Gil Gawk looks on from behind, and it's a fading from behind as Gil Gawk is falling off this battle as the 98 looks to clear him here. 15 going to fight back on that outside line. He's going to have that run on the outside as he gets off that corner, as the 98 going to have that preferred groove on the inside line. 15 might lose it here as the 98 looks to have the run off corner number 4 up to the wall. No, he's not going to get there, but the 15 is going to get a little bit of a run back, but I think the 98's got this position locked down within these next couple of laps.
How about the 7, Larry Scott Jr. running 4th, coming across the radio basically saying he's loose in the corner, a little loose through the center, and definitely loose off the corner has been his big problem, but he's being run down. It's showing, because he's getting run down by Scott Ickes, who's currently in the 5th position, looking for that 4th position.
Yeah, Ickes has been there. He's been pressuring a little bit, but he's really fallen off the back a little bit of the 7. They passed the 55 of Munger as Munger starts to fall back off the battle for position number 4. Just in front of them, it's still 0.2 of a second between your second and third place driver. Kirby in the 15 or the 25 check that really threw it in there that last lap into corner number 3, and it looks like closed the gap just a little bit between himself and the 5. 109 being worked on the board of 166.
Tim Terry, while we're working lap 109 under the green flag, why don't you talk to us about the Tim's Corner Motorsports and, Tim's Corner.ca and everything we got. coming to ETV Live as well.
Yeah, check it out at timscorner.ca, Tim's Corner Motorsports. We're hoping to have Tim's Corner Unplugged on ETV Live Radio coming up here in the next couple of weeks as we get ready for the local racing season. Driver spotlights, driver profiles, all the news and all the interviews from the Atlantic Canadian region and some sim racing stuff as well with the Tim's Corner Challenge for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship and some other stuff mixed in there as well. timscorner.ca, head over there and check that out as Jeff Backey continues to lead, putting on a performance here this evening as he's got Mickey in second. It's only 2/10 back to Mike Kirby, and then you have Larry Scott and Scott Ickes in position at number 5. So it's been a great race here so far, Dakota, as we're at that 2/3 distance mark thereabouts, as these guys start to think green flag runs, start to think possibly pit stops. I believe that we'll see one pit stop on this run, Dakota, and this should, correct me if I'm wrong, put them in the window, one more pit stop to the end of this race.
Yeah, I do believe there is at least one more stop before we can get to the end. We still have a little over 50 laps remaining, or around 50 laps remaining. That's the time where just thinking we haven't pitted in quite a while. We're probably approaching green flag stops, like you said. But I mean, I do believe we have at least one more stop to make, and we could see 2 even at this point, depending on how many laps they can make on fuel. And it's hard to judge how many laps they can make on fuel because they haven't had a full green flag run yet. It's been cautions to end the run maybe 10, 20 laps earlier than what they'd expect. But I think we were looking at 40 to 50 laps in the fuel window before. So depending on when they pit, it could be close.
I think we went, 35 to 40 on this run at the start of the race before we saw a caution, so they can at least do 40, I think. We'll have to see how far they can go after that 40-lap mark, but let's say it is 40 laps. Within about 10 laps or so, they're in that window of making it the rest of the way on fuel. You have to be thinking it's in these guys' minds that could very well happen. Set yourself up for what could be a pit stop, and Mike Kirby in position 3 is setting himself up for what could be a battle for that second place spot in front of him. It looks like Kirby has really turned it on the last couple of laps as he's up on the back of the 5 once again.
And back at 13th, Chris Carpenter goes around Gilgock for the 12th position. Looking back up there at that battle you said, Mike Kirby's kind of closing in a little bit here. I mean, he has stepped it up a little bit. As you look at the lap times from Eric Mickey, the last few laps, it looks like, the last 2 or 3 laps were 3, a 3, and a 2, a low 2 that is, to Mike Kirby's 2, 2, 2. Mike Kirby's all about the 2s right now. It looks like Eric Mona stepped it up a little bit. That's kind of widened that gap, picked up about 2/10 last time by, and there's really Mike Kirby throwing the corner. I think Kirby's playing with the line. He's trying to figure out what he can do to make up time right now.
Yeah, he definitely missed it in 3 and 4 the last time by, and that's why he lost probably 3 car lengths on that number 5 just in that corner. So I think you're right. He's trying to mess around with different lines to see what he can make up, and in the case of 3 and 4 2 laps ago, what you're going to lose if you do miss a mark, as these drivers now have about 0.3 of a second between each other. Just behind them, Scott and Ickes continue to go at it as well. So the 7 and 17 at position number 4 heating up. Ickes, last week's winner, trying to win his second consecutive race and do it here at a very different track compared to Richmond at Chicagoland, as the 17 is now underneath, and he will pick up the spot.
And how about Eric Mickey? A few laps to go as we were watching the 25. Eric Mickey got all kinds of sideways off of turn 4. That really let the 25 of Mike Kirby catch him big time. I mean, he brought that gap down quite a bit, and just that little stretch where the 5 was sideways, and finally saved it, and he lost so much time down the front stretch that the 25 has now kind of got a little bit closer, and the 25's reeling him in, and it looked like it as he drove it in deep into the corner, made up a little bit of time, lost it off the corner. 5 is still making up a lot of time off the corner, and Larry Scott Jr. has been Hail Mary loose most of this run, and he's been passed by the 17, and Scott Ickes now trying to follow in line behind the 17, maybe use the draft to his advantage, maybe try to speed up his car, and maybe tighten it up if he possibly can.
Yeah, he's going to have one more pit stop to throw something at it, and if we go green to the finish, it's only going to be probably one pit stop to throw something at that race car, so you're hoping that you hit the marks and you hit the mark on your setup correctly, because if not, you're going to be struggling for the last probably 30 or 40 laps of this race, whatever the run is between the pit stop to the finish of the race. First driver on pit road is Gil Gawk in the number 24, and he was really falling back like a stone. So they're going to probably throw some wholesale changes to that race car. Lap 120 is going to be begun this next time by, so we're going to have 46 laps to go. Yeah, these guys, if they can go another 6 to 8 laps or so, I'm pretty sure they should be able to make it to the finish.
All right, well, here 4 tires and fuel for the overshooting driver. The driver overshot his pit stall, the 24, Gil Gawk. And why don't we go ahead, step away, take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with green flag pit stops, and we'll see if they can make it the rest of the way, Tim Terry.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products, reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
And we're back live to Green Flag Racing here at Chicagoland Speedway with the OCRL Online Championship Racing League, Race 3 of the Chase. And Jeff Backey Jr., points leader, leads the race by about 3.9 seconds. 3.927 seconds to be exact last time he crossed the line. Going to go ahead and take this opportunity to talk to you about iLeagueRace.com, a one-stop shop for iRacing leagues. Looking for a total website and points management, custom scoring protocols, complete scheduling and management of series and events, even a blog setup to recap your race. iLeagueRace.com also provides driver and team signups with integration of APIs, such as scoring tickers and point updates. If you have an iRacing league, you need iLeague Race. www.iLeagueRace.com. Check them out today.
Lap 126 being worked on the board for the leader, this time by 40 laps to go, so these guys can make it the rest of the way. I do believe Dakota on fuel. It's just a matter of when these guys do decide to head down to pit road to the attention of their crews. 40 laps to go here for Backey. It's 4 seconds between himself and Mickey, and it looks like he's got a gap now between himself and the 17 car of Ickes, who's passed Mike Kirby. So Kirby is really fallen off here in about these last 15 laps.
Yeah, and that's, Ickes now, how about that? Third position, 4.9 behind the leader, only 0.8 of a second behind the second place car of Eric Mickey. He could possibly catch that 5 machine before the end of this run, before we get the green flag stops. But that's what's going to change everything. We get the green flag pit stops. We know Eric Mickey's fast. We know Mike Kirby's fast. Those two could even help their cars. They could make a pit stop that really helps the cars, and they could go right back by Scott Ickes. But the long run, it looks like Scott Ickes has a fantastic car here tonight with the best by Ford there for King Crossover Motorsports.
Yeah, you don't want to make a mistake on pit road, especially you're 4.5 seconds or so behind Jeff Backey, or at least 4.5 seconds behind when you come on to pit road, as Backey continues to stay out on the racetrack 4.3 seconds ahead of Mickey and the rest of this field. So if you're Backey, don't make a mistake, clean stop, get out. This race goes green the rest of the way. It's almost a Sunday drive unless something goes wrong, you miss your marks. If you're Mickey, you're Ickes, you're Kirby, you're the rest of those guys back there, got to make a clean pit stop and got to gain a little bit of time on pit road while you're at it.
And how about Larry Scott Jr.? He's the guy that he might spend a little bit more time on pit road. Been chucking the wall quite a bit, coming off of the turns, off the corners, even going into the corner. He got going into one. He actually hit the wall before. And the 25, Mike Kirby was, I think that was the 25, Mike Kirby looking to go to pit road, misses pit road entry. That'll cost him a lot of time, as he's now side-by-side with Larry Scott Jr., who's a 6th place car. Eric Mickey, hearing he's coming down pit road this time. He's the 2nd place car. And the 88 also coming down pit road. That's the race leader. Teammates right there coming down. Might even see Scott Ickes this time. So almost everybody coming down right about now. See Eric Mickey pulling off underneath the apron, trying to get slowed down. Don't spin it out. Almost does spin it out, getting on pit road.
Yeah, he's on to pit road. He was quick at the line, too, so not only is he going to be backwards and lose a bunch of time, he might have a stop-and-go penalty as well. As if I'm still trying to get righted on pit road. Eric Mickey just lost the race, I think, on pit road, unless we get a caution flag, as Backey is in his pit stall, right side tires going up on the 88. So we talked about those 3 drivers being the class of the field here. Backey, the 5 of Mickey, and the 25 of Kirby. Kirby missed pit road. The 5 spun on pit road. Backey's been perfect so far, and it's going to be tough to catch Jeff Backey, I think, here as he's down and away, and it looks clean so far.
And Eric Mickey, who's been having had a good race going, then is going to get probably spinning onto pit road, spins out the car on pit road, and overshoots his stall. That's another mistake for the 5 team. Unfortunate for Eric Mickey, and that could cost him big time. I mean, that's going to cost him even more. That's even more time he's got to wait on pit road. And this guy, remember, trying to make up as many points as he can. He could be considered out of it if he has a really bad race this time around. Because remember, he is last car in the chase. He's eighth in points.
Jake Finch led that last lap. He's now down on pit road, I believe. Chris Thomas Dukes is going to stay out and lead a lap here. No, he's not. Finch is going to get that lap at the line. 8's going to overshoot his box by about a half length. He backs up and still backing up and still not in his box. So Finch is going to lose a lot of time and probably a lap once we cycle through pit stops as he finally gets into his box. Chris Thomas Dukes leads this race, Cat D, and I believe this time by you might see him on pit road. No, he's going to stay out. He's still under power, so the 15 going to come by and lead the lap. The one thing that I saw, though, about that 25 pit stop is he was on the outside. He tried to come down from the outside line. He was battling the 3 car on the inside line. He cuts across traffic to come onto pit road, and he still doesn't get pit road. So I'm not sure about that call there from Mike Kirby. Seems like almost a rookie mistake from that driver.
I believe last week, I want to say it was last week, was his first race back in a while. He hasn't been here as of lately. He's just kind of made a return the last few weeks. And here in the 15 of coming down pit road, that's Chris Ross and Thomas Dix. But Mike Kirby has not been down or been here for quite a while. He just now came back and signed on with Turn 2 Motorsports for basically a part-time ride. And they'll see about putting him in a full-time ride, I do believe. So he's got to have an impressive showing. And kind of running into trouble here with that pit stall or pit strategy there that didn't quite work out because of the pit road mishap. And here comes Chris Ross, Thomas Dukes down into his stall. He'll stop in it, not overshooting, and the right sides go up. Going to be a 4-tire stop here on lap 135 of 166.
So it looks like the pit stops will cycle through here with the stop from the 15. And it should be about 4 seconds between first and a second place. And I believe Ickes will be second place. Oh, that's the 24 check that gets into the wall as the 17 makes the pass on Gil Gawk, who is now 1 lap down. So it is 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds between your top 2 drivers. And Larry Scott is 8.5 seconds behind. Kirby's 9 seconds back. And Munger going to complete your top 10. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, a little bit close in the racetrack. Probably about 3 car lengths or so in between those drivers there. So what a tough break for Ickes Actually, Ickes didn't lose a whole lot of time, on that pit stop, but you look at Larry Scott, you look at Mike Kirby, you look at Chris Munger, they lost a bunch of time. Mickey is a lap down in the 5. That changed everything.
That it did. Larry Scott Jr. now up to 3rd position. He was kind of struggling last stop. I'm sure they made changes, but he's 4 seconds back from just 2nd place. Scott Ickes, really bad. I think he's been terrible probably on the short runs, at least to his thinking right now. He thinks he could be a lot better. I know that, compared to everybody else, he doesn't have one of the strong cars when it comes to a short run. He's got a really good long run car. Nothing for Jeff Backey Jr. So unless Jeff Backey Jr. gets in trouble, I don't think anybody can beat him. But, Scott Ickes has now put himself in a position he doesn't even have a car for the short run, and he's up here on a short run, basically, on those fresh tires, ready for a long run, sitting in the 2nd position, kind of locked himself into the spot if there is no caution.
Speaking of short run, I think Mike Kirby is one of the fastest drivers in the short run. I don't know if he can run down 5 seconds, though, the key thing. First, he's got to get past Larry Scott here. This is the battle for 3rd, as the 25 is up on the 7 for that spot. If he can get past the next position up, as we mentioned, 4.5 to 5 seconds up, I don't think he can make up that time, but we'll have to see, number 1, if he can get past the 7 car, number 2, we'll see what he can do with the remainder of this race, as we are under 30 laps to go right now. I believe we should have 27 to go at the stripe, as the 25 flashes the nose and the 7 to the inside. 25 looking to throw something in here. He throws that car in there and nearly gets into the 7, backs off a little bit to not get into the Ream Chevrolet.
And the 7's still taking off the corner, still holding position. It looks like he's kind of halfway on the bottom, halfway on the middle groove almost. He's trying to keep it up there where the grip is, or where he can find grip, where he's comfortable, and yet he's trying to, keep the 25 behind him. And that's what he's got to do to keep the position and keep the speed going, as he's now approaching the 24th lap car of Gil Gock, who pitted extremely early, one of the first car to come down pit road to start the cycle. Green flag stops, and he is currently 1 lap down.
Yeah, there's a couple of drivers here that are 1 lap down. You talk about Thomas Dukes, you talk about Mickey, Gock, and Carpenter, all shown as 1 lap down. We have 9 drivers currently scored on the lead lap, and then everybody else from Davis on back out of this race. And actually, it looks like it could very well be 8 cars very soon, as Finch is on the same straightaway as your leader right now, 26 seconds behind, or just a few seconds in front of Jeff Backey Jr. 4.7 seconds. He tacked on 0.3 of a second the last time by, did your leader, on the battle for what is the lead position. So it looks like Ickes right now falling back a little bit, and you mentioned it, he's solidly in that 2nd place position. He's got 4 seconds back to position number 3. Just don't overdrive the race car. Just keep hitting your marks, and you've got 2nd locked up in this race if we don't see a caution.
Yeah, and you got to think, once they get into a longer run, the 17 gets better. He can run away from the guys behind him, even if they started running him down. Especially if they abuse the tires trying to run him down. And we're closing on just a little over 20 laps remaining. I don't think there is a way that the 7 or the 25 or the 55 for that matter can catch the 17 so long as the caution doesn't fly. Like you said, Jeff Backey Jr. really got this thing locked up so long as the caution doesn't fly again. But I mean, he's got a strong car, and actually looks like he got ran down. I want to say it looked like he got run down, but he's actually setting down some pretty good laps. It looks like he was actually beat last time by Scott Ickes. Wow.
I'm looking down here at the standings right now as we run here, and obviously, if we do not get a caution flag, you got Jeff Backey Jr. and Scott Ickes running in the top 2 spots. They're the top 2 in the point standings, so it's not going to change a whole lot, maybe 5 points or so heading out of here, or maybe a couple of more for Backey over Ickes. You got Munger back there in position number 5. He was 2 back coming in, so he's likely going to be 10-15 thereabouts going back. And then you have that little jump. Thomas Morris was 11 points back coming in. He's back there at position number 7 with the 98 car of Wendell James. James came into tonight 4 points behind the 99, who he's chasing for position number 7. So those guys are standing to lose a lot of ground here in the standings, albeit we still have over half the chase to go, but these guys do not want to fall into a hole at this point. It looks like, by the looks of it here, if this race is to end thereabouts where it is right now, you're going to have your top 2, top 3 really start to separate themselves from the rest of the field, compared to right now where we have we have the top 3 separating themselves, but there's that little bit of a gap back there that could be made up.
There is, and Scott Ickes and Jeff Beck Jr. Just a little interesting fact here. These two running 1-2 right now, 1-2 in the points. Scott Ickes, defending champion. Jeff Beck Jr. was the guy he was running against last season, I do believe, for the championship. It came down to the last race at Homestead, just about. These guys are the only two that have won a race in the Generation 6 car so far. This is the 3rd race we've had it. It's been these two. It seems like the whole time, and they just managed to put themselves in the same position every time. I mean, how about that? Whoa, Larry Scott Jr. falling back 2 spots. He's back to 5th position. Must have a sideways car again, because he's falling back just about nearly a second from Scott Ickes.
Yeah, it's starting to change a little bit there within the top 5. As Scott back to 5th, and he's got a little bit of time that he can breathe a little bit, as the 6th place position just changed hands that last lap, with Morris passing Hinkins for position at number 6, and now Hinkins is in the middle of Morris and James, which is a good sign for the number 99 car. It's 1 extra point in between them, as it was 4 coming in to this evening's racing action. So Morris trying to close in, but keep in mind the next spot ahead of him for position is 14 seconds ahead, and they've got about that lap left in laps plus a couple, as it's 1:48 completed this time by. So Morris looking to pull away here from this battle and try to solidify what is a top 6 finish.
Yeah, and he's, 14 seconds behind Larry Scott Jr. Larry Scott Jr. doesn't have to really worry about the car behind him catching him. Eric Mickey, 11th position, the last car in the chase again, a lap down, and he's being beat by Christopher Austin Thomas Dukes, Cat D right now, who's in 10th position. How about Jake Finch? There's only 9 cars in the lead lap. Jake Finch is the last car in the lead lap, 27 seconds out, running the same setup as the leader. And really sideways so far, it seems like. The 8 hanging on to the car all night long, doing a fantastic job running 9th position.
Yeah, great run for Jake Finch, as Finch is trying to make a little bit of noise in the standings. He can't win the championship. He's not in the chase, but he's 48 points behind Kingston, coming in for position at number 9. He's going to gain some points here, as Kingston is out of this race in 18th place. Finch is up in 9th, so there's 9 points thereabouts in between those two positions. I believe Kingston did not lead a lap in this race. Finch led a lap through the cycle of green flag pit stop, so there's 1 more point in between them. So there's 10 points that he gained, so that 48 instantly becomes 38 points by my rough calculations there, with 7 races to go after tonight. So Finch still very well alive in what is the battle for position number 9, the first driver to not make the chase. And if you're going to not make the chase, you definitely want to finish right there, the first driver knocking on the door in position number 9. So I'm sure that's what Finch has in his mind right now, and he can try to gain 1 more point if he can catch Wendell James, but there's a second and a half between those two drivers, nearly 2 seconds between 8th and 9th place, as we run on lap 152 right now. Leaders on 153 of 166. The next time by, 13 laps to go.
Yeah, we're closing down on this 166th lap race here. 13 laps remaining, like you said, when they cross the start-finish line. Race is really winding down. Long race here. How about that?
And a lot of green flag running at the end of this race. We saw it there last Thursday with RSR. A couple of cautions at the start of the race, but really, it picked up, and a lot of green flag running at the end to close off the race. And we're not there yet. We still have 13 laps to go in this race, but everybody's really found a place to race right now. The closest battle for position might very well be Munger and Kirby, and as I look at that, it looks like Hinkins and James are also possibly going to mount a battle for position number 7. So it looks like 7th might be the closest battle on the racetrack right now, and keep a half eye on that battle for 3rd. But I think 7th of Hinkins and James might change before the end of this race.
And you can't mention the Thursday night series with Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series without mentioning Inside Sim Racing, sponsoring the Thursday night Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren Ganchi and John Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation, auto racing, games for PCs, and the Xbox crowd. from steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing, Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them today at www.isrtv.com.
Always a great site to check out for all your sim racing needs, and of course those big events that they put on through the iRacing community, always very popular. Hinkins in the number 21, running in position number 7 right now, being chased down by the number 98 of Wendell James, and keep in mind James involved in the chase right now, and the driver in front of the number 21, he's battling for position, which would be, now looking down the list, 4th place in the standings. You would think that he wants to get by him, so I think the 98 is driving a little bit determined right now, as he's got about 3 car lengths in between himself and position number 7 and 1 more point in this chase for the Cup over here at OCRL. 157 being worked on the board right now as Backy comes across. 158 now being worked on the board for Backy. Less than 10 laps remaining.
Yeah, I was watching Wendell James a lap ago when he went into turn number 1, got the apron slid up, lost a lot of time. This time did not, but will push up the track and lose some time. He's still gaining on the 21. Even when he's losing time, he's gaining on the 21, it looks like. And he's using the apron there. He's going to get to the apron line, use that to help turn the car. And then you see him cutting down through the tri-oval, getting on the apron there. That's a slick place. That's a scary place to be. But trying to make it work there in the 98 machine, as Case Hinkins is actually kind of pulling away a little bit at that point.
It looks like the 21 might have stepped it up just a little bit here, and that's really all he needs right now is these guys work lap 158 of this race. They are almost a lap down. Keep in mind, is Backy on the same straightaway as them. If you look at Backy, he looks out, and you can see the battle for position number 7 right now, which also includes Jake Finch about a second behind. So it looks like these drivers will finish on the lead lap unless something happens. The 98, though, really going to have to step it up if he wants position at number 7, and really has to keep on it, because if he misses his marks again, gets on that loose stuff on the apron, he's got Jake Finch behind him about a second behind. So I'm sure he'll be more than willing to take away position number 8 if the 98 slips up again.
And when you mentioned Jeff Backy Jr. about to lap Jake Finch, teammates right there, so I don't know. You might see Jake Finch end up staying on the lead lap only because Jeff Backy Jr. has a 6-second gap back to Scott Ickes, and he's got no time. He's not in a hurry anywhere. All he's got to do is just ride around the track, or he can go blowing right by his teammate. Either way, the 88 on fire here, just closing in on 5 laps remaining, or 6 laps remaining.
Yeah, Backy's got that 6.3 second lead, so he can essentially put it on cruise control. He comes across the line this time by, and I believe this is the end of the, if we get a caution, we go back to green. So if we get a caution now, it's essentially over, and the 88 of Jeff Backy Jr. will come away with the win. So Backy is at the point right now, 6.4 second lead. You can pretty much put it on cruise control to come away with this victory, and I'm sure it's going to be a happy celebration down there after finishing 4th last week, leading the points. Going to gain some points on your second place driver in the points and on the racetrack right now, Scott Ickes. Yeah, I think Backy's going to be pretty happy with this run. 4 to go.
Yeah, closing in the laps winding down here. 4 laps remaining for Jeff Backy Jr. and the Mountain Dew Kickstart car, the 88 machine for Junior Motorsports. Scott Ickes running second, Best Buy Ford for King Crosser Motorsports. How about Eric Mickey being scored in the 11th position, still racing side by side now with the 15 of Christopher Austin Thomas Dukes for the 10th position. Both cars 1 lap down. The first car 1 lap down was Christopher Austin Thomas Dukes. Not anymore, because there goes Eric Mickey around the 15. The 15 right next to the wall. Still up there. So the 15 really trying to make the outside lane work. He's doing it. I mean, he's making up a little bit of time coming off the corners, and he was running some pretty decent lap times. But Eric Mickey will get around him and move up into the 10th position. Pretty good rally for that 5 crew. Behind him, on the track-wise, it is Mike Kirby, who is currently 11.3 seconds behind the leader. Larry Scott Jr. sitting in the 4th position and just got around Christopher Munger in the 55 for 5th. Thomas Moore is sitting 6th. Case Hinkins 7th. Wendell James 8th. Wendell James was 8th, but he just lost a spot to Jake Finch. And Case Hinkins up to 7th, and it looks like the leader could be closing in on these guys.
Yeah, he's closing in on them because they nearly had a moment in front of them as Jake Finch went by to clear the number 98. He chopped the nose off the number 98, went up high, thought he was clear, and he was clear, but it might have been just a paper width or two between those two drivers as the 98 is now on the hunt and the 88 behind them with essentially on the final lap of this race. White flag out for the number 88. Last lap. You would think that the 88 might let these guys battle in front of him, or, well, you talked about teammates in the 8 and the 88 try to get up there to the 98, but the 88 nearly gets in to the fence off corner number 2, making this track really wide, coming down to the finish here, Dakota.
Yeah, I think he gave a lot of room right there. Here he goes, though, working through 3 and 4, coming off of turn number 4 for the final time. Jeff Backey Jr. will win the Chicagoland Speedway in the OCRL. Chase race number 3, third race in the Generation 6 car, win number 2 for the Chase, and win number 2 in the Generation 6 car for Jeff Backey Jr. in Junior Motorsports.
Ickes is going to come home in position at number 2, about 5.5 seconds behind. Mike Kirby comes home in position at number 3. Larry Scott finishes in 4th, and Christopher Munger comes home in position number 5. I believe we've caught up with Jeff Backey Jr. Jeff, congratulations on the win, a very dominant win here at Chicagoland.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'm still shooken up by that. We tried so hard to bring the best equipment we had to Chicago. We got a pretty good history here. All 4 of us, and it's been a lot of fun trying to work on this, and I was really nervous about that front-end suspension deal, but it paid off, and it worked for us tonight.
Talk about that pit stop. You come down with about 40 laps to go. You have a big lead already, and then those 2 drivers that were really battling with you for the win position that were really strong in the first half of the race, the 5 and the 25, they both have issues on pit road. I'm sure you heard of those 2 having issues. What was going through your mind when you came out on the racetrack and you had a 4+ second lead?
I knew that if I hit my marks, I'd be all right. The car was really fast. Everybody on this 88 team did a really good job getting this one prepared. It was fast off the truck, and when I got out of there after pit road, it was just a matter of where's everybody going to shake out, and I knew we'd lose a little bit because of how conservative we were getting on pit road.
Looking down the list here, there are 3 mile-and-a-half racetracks to close off this chase. Charlotte, Texas, Homestead. How big can Chicagoland translate over, albeit there is a new build coming out which could change the setups a little bit, but this has to give you confidence for those 3 races out of the 7 coming up in the chase.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. I feel like going into was it Charlotte? There we go. Yeah, going into Charlotte will be all right. I think Chicago is completely different than the rest of those mile-and-a-halves, and yeah, we're worried about that, but we'll do our homework and just keep testing and practicing, and we'll be able to put more stuff out like this.
New Hampshire next week. Can we get another win?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of good guys contending. I know that Eric's hungry to get back in this chase. That's his home track. That's his ground. He'll be tough to beat. Scott won there last year. It'll be fun, definitely. It'll be a lot of good contenders up there, and I can't really say it's so close. The competition is every week.
You got some sponsors on your race car and this dedicated team that helped you work on the setup. Who makes it happen for Jeff Backey Jr.?
Definitely Mountain Dew Kickstart, Amp Energy, National Guard. Mountain Dew only gets so many races on the car a week or a season, and we've won with every time PepsiCo has been on the car, so I'm proud of that. And everybody on my team, Jake, Larry, Eric, Steve, everybody who puts into this, it's a lot of hard work, and it paid off tonight.
There's your winner this evening from Chicagoland, Jeff Backey Jr. Going to go to Dakota Ehrman, who has caught up with Scott Ickes, position number 2.
Yeah, and Scott Ickes coming home in 2nd position. Scott, man, you didn't look like you had too great of a car in the short run. It was an alright car when it got a little ways in the run, and at the end of the run, it seemed to be one of the better cars out there. What was the whole race like for you, and what a long race for you?
I'm happy to get 2nd, I guess. It's tough. We messed up in qualifying there. I don't know. It felt a lot different. It was way tighter than what we practiced in. But traffic killed us. That's the way this racing kind of goes lately with these new cars. It just seems like you can't pass anybody, and we were struggling all night passing people. A lot of people just not giving a lot of room. They're not going to give up their position easy, that's for sure, but a lot of those guys were loose on exit, so I guess it's either cause a caution or, run your position. So we were lucky enough to get through a lot of the wrecks tonight. yeah, I mean, we were good on long run, but once I seen Jeff out there as far as he was, it was kind of like just back down and you know, just not wreck the car and bring it home second. A lot more racing to do.
And Scott, man, we have several more races this season, and they're the same kind of track, mile-and-a-half tracks. Are you kind of looking forward to those, or not as much anymore with the struggling that was kind of done tonight, where you guys were running outside the top 5 for so long?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely figured something out this morning, kind of worked on something. So, in a way, I mean, we're happy about it, but in another way, I mean, everybody's working off new stuff, you know, with the new cars. So, you know, any position that we can pick up or anywhere that we can finish in the top 5 is really a win at this point. And, you know, we're just kind of working on a notebook.
And Scott, we head into the New Hampshire Motor Speedway next week. Definitely an interesting track, a different track. It's almost could be classified as a short track. The way you got to get into the corners, it's a lot like Martinsville in some ways. Can you have success there? I mean, you did have success at the short track that was Richmond International Raceway.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives us confidence when we do go to Richmond to go to New Hampshire, but it's like anything else. Like I say, you know, with the new car, I mean, it's totally different. So, you know, we were good there last season, but, you know, there's still tricks to this car, you know, teams will figure out here and there, and if we're late on it, you know, we're not going to be all that great. So, you know, we'll see what we can do there. It should be a fun race, and looking forward to it.
All right, man, here's a chance to throw out any shout-outs you may have here.
Just gotta thank everybody from Pinnacle and Godfather Racing. You know, the good thing is, me, Thomas, Chris, you know, all those guys are in Chase, Wendell, you know, we all share setups and information pretty well between the 4 of us. You normally don't get that a lot from teams, and it's fun racing against your teammates for a top 5 position. So, you know, we'll just keep going at it here. I gotta thank those guys and Best Buy, Alan, and hopefully have a good rest of the season.
All right, thank you, Scott, and good luck in New Hampshire Motor Speedway. But tell you what, Tim Terry, that was Scott Ickes and Jeff Backey Jr. Now we're final thoughts here after Chicagoland Speedway in 166 laps.
You know, Mike Kirby in 3rd place, couldn't catch up with him. He might be a little bit frustrated with the way that second run went, and you have to feel for Mike Kirby. You really have to feel for Eric Mickey as well, who were stout race drivers and just missed it this evening, especially on that last pit stop. Congratulations to Jeff Backey. He hit everything right this evening, and he will lead the points going forward here. He's going to be one to beat throughout this season. Ickes as well put up a strong run this evening. I think those are the 2 drivers that we really have to watch going forward, Dakota, in this chase.
That we do, and I'm really looking forward to the battle between, you know, Scott Ickes and Jeff Backey Jr. Both of them are the only guys that have won a race in the Generation 6 car. One is 3 races in, so one of them's won 2. That's Jeff, and then Scott, it's his turn to go win 2, or win his second one. That's in New Hampshire, a track where his team has actually had success in the past. So let's keep our eye on that next week. Going to be a lot of fun, or, you know, wish them the best of luck next week. Kind of want to hear what happens, but I'll tell you what, follow us here at ETV Live. That's all for us. We'll be back next week.